Welcome everyone here this evening. Appreciate you attending meetings. See the folks. You have to say, and thank you for taking the time out to come over and meet with us. Roll call. 5 supervisors are present. Township manager is present. Township assistant manager is present. Police chief is present. Director of trade and zoning is present. Here is present. Assistant fire chief is present. About this to provide everyone here. Please stand for the
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On our agenda, we're going to go a little bit of word along the fellow board members go along with me. We're going to insert it here.
Mr. Barber, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Hear you at all.
Jordan, mic's on?
We don't have like a speaker system.
I'll speak a little louder.
Thank
Usually my voice carries, but once again, with the indulgence of my fellow supervisors, at this time, we're going to do a recognition program concerning the Thomas Campbell Apartments. And we're trying to lead that. And what I'm going to read it off to you. Recognition of Thomas Campbell Apartments, board and staff with the fire and life safety upgrades to their facilities. And I'm going to this time to ask Jordan Kramer to come forward, our fire chief, and he'll conduct this recognition program.
I'll try to project as much as I can so everybody can hear. But I think many folks are aware in December of 2021, we had a devastating fire that tore through the Thomas Campbell Apartments in South Trevane Township. The fire left one of the residents dead and many injured. It displaced over 50 residents for many months, and it caused millions of dollars in damage, let alone the toll that it took on those that lived there, those that worked there. I started in South Trevane a couple months after that and was able to witness firsthand the community and camaraderie that that location has among the residents and everybody that works there. This fire also served as a pivotal point for our fire departments, our community as a whole, as well as public safety in South Trevane Township. After this fire, our board of supervisors at that time voted to move to 24/7 coverage, 365 throughout South Trevane Township for fire. So after that point, there's not a moment you can stop in South Trevane where there are not at least 2 firefighters on duty all the time. That's something that we're proud of and thankful that the board took that action. Additionally, shortly after that, we were caused to reevaluate our ladder truck, and the board once again approved the purchase of a new aerial capable of reaching the commercial buildings here in South Trevane Township. Those were 2 major things that came of that fire at Thomas Campbell. Shortly after starting again, I had the opportunity to meet with the staff, the residents, the board of directors for Thomas Campbell, and we started talking about how we could make this safer and ensure that it would never happen again. Some of us were very aware of what that answer was going to be, and that's surrounded around installing a fire detection system as well as a fire sprinkler system. I've had those conversations many times with building owners, property managers, you name it, and there are other folks in the room that have had those conversations as well. And they often start well, and they go downhill as soon as they see the cost of it. I'm thankful to say that the board at Thomas Campbell was far, far different. They were primarily concerned with ensuring that their residents were safe and that that would never happen again at that property. So we'll fast forward a little bit. The board approved the installation of almost $2 million in fire and life safety systems, state-of-the-art fire detection system, and a state-of-the-art fire sprinkler system that I confidently share with their residents. There's no other residential building in Washington County that meets that level of protection. We're proud of it. Their board is proud of it, and so are the folks that live there. Unfortunately, we were able to test that recently. So if we fast forward again to last Wednesday, January 22nd, about 7:45 a.m. I was still at home trying to get payroll done, so all of our folks got a paycheck that Friday, and we got a fire alarm activation at Thomas Campbell. It was dispatched as a commercial fire alarm. Again, 7:45 in the bedroom of room 418. That's all we knew at that point, but I knew that instantly. It came across my phone, and I figured that's pretty normal in Thomas Campbell. It could be steam, it could be somebody that burned popcorn. That's kind of run of the mill. About 30 seconds later, we received an update from our 911 center saying that they had 2 additional fire alarm activations coming from the hallway and another room next to it. At that point, we start to think that maybe something's going on that we should be concerned about. So I started heading that direction, and another minute, we had notification that there was a water flow alarm, meaning that the sprinkler system within the building had activated. So at that point, in about 4 minutes, with no 911 calls from the premise, we're able to tell from an automatic system that there's very likely a commercial fire that's active within that building. So our crews got there in about 5 minutes. They were able to make it up to the fire floor. Again, they knew exactly which apartment they were going to, which if we put this in perspective and look at about 3 years ago, we would arrive at a building like that, a 7-story building with what, 120-ish units, Pat, and not know what room that was coming from. So that alone would take 10 to 15 minutes for us to figure out where the activation was. And within seconds of arriving, we know exactly which room we're going to. So that greatly affected our operation. Our crew got to the fire floor. Not surprisingly, we found what was a working fire. The part that was surprising, though, is the lead maintenance technician at Thomas Campbell was crawling out of the room that had been on fire after having just emptied 2 fire extinguishers on the active fire. Not only did he do that, but he made it up 4 flights of steps, had enough time to look at the screen and see which room was activated, grab a fire extinguisher, and get a fire extinguisher on the fire before the sprinkler system even had time to activate. So that's about 90 seconds that he did all of that. So a couple things that we wanted to really focus on today, not only the built environment and the upgrades that we were able to make, but that community as a whole and the actions of Lester, one of the head maintenance technicians there. So first of all, we just want to start with a round of applause for that. We're extremely proud of what happened at Thomas Campbell. Our department's been fortunate to develop a bond with not only the folks that work there, but the residents that occupy all floors of that building. And we're proud of Lester. We actually would like to recruit him to come join our team because he does some good work. But we have some certificates of recognition that we'd like to award tonight. So for the first one, Pat and our board president, if you two would like to come up here, and we'll issue this to you. So we're issuing to Thomas Campbell as a whole, their board of directors, as well as the staff, a certificate of appreciation on this 28th day of January for their exemplary commitment to fire and life safety of their residents and staff through the installation of nearly $2 million in state-of-the-art detection and suppression systems that will protect and save countless lives in the year to come. So we really appreciate that. That to present to you all. So hopefully we'll see that in the lobby next time.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
So the second award that I have, Pat, don't go too far, is another certificate of appreciation. Again, I've had the opportunity to work with Pat through all of this. There have been tears shed. The connection that she has with the residents is one that I've never witnessed in a property manager in a facility like this ever before. But we're issuing a certificate of appreciation to Ms. Patricia Gold for her unwavering compassion, empathy, and leadership displayed in the aftermath of the 2021 fire, as well as her dedication and advocacy for the installation of nearly $2 million in state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression systems that will protect and save countless lives in years to come.
Jeez.
You are done. All right, and we have one more. So this is the first time as the fire chief here in about 3 years that I have the ability and an occasion where we get to present an award like this. But I have a certificate of valor that I'll be presenting to Lester Perillo for his recognition of his extraordinary courage, selflessness, and decisive action on January 22nd during a commercial structure fire. Without regard for his own safety, he placed himself in harm's way to rapidly locate and extinguish a fire, thereby saving lives, property, and preventing further tragedy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Chairman, appreciate the time.
Thank you, Chief Craver. Thank you, folks. All done. Okay, we're going to get back to the agenda. Public comment time. Since it's the first meeting of the year, just going to go over the guidelines for speak louder. The guidelines for public comments. Number one, the Robert's Rules of Order will apply. The township manager will call you by name to the podium. Please state your name and address. 3-minute time limit. At this time, there's no debate or questions and answers, and no personal attacks, of course. And folks, just to tip you off, following the public comment time, it's rarely that you speak again, but I'd like to know that from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, the township building is open. You can call, you can visit. They're available to you to answer your questions and help you out. And we also have a form we put on the front table over there. If you have a comment, or you want to ask a question, and the township manager will get back to you between 1 and 3 days. Then after a meeting, each of our meetings, even including tonight, usually the township manager stays over, some of the board members stay over. So if you have another comment or something, just come on up to the dais, and we'll help you out as best we can. Okay. Okay. Let's move on here then. Now we're going to move into a public comment time, and Mr. Ziegler, I'm going to ask you to call these folks up that wish to speak.
Okay. First person on the list, Joe Rush.
I'm Joe Rush, 387 Davis School Road. I think all of you know me. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Joanne Rush. She lives at 37 Pine Valley Road. Real quick, she's concerned about Berry Road, where Falcone needs a code property in the bend. She was concerned she'd like to see a guardrail. So I know it takes more than, me just.
Hey, Joe, where we're at? Tell me where the car is.
Where the bad bend is. Chief Kramer knows.
Oh,
Where everybody goes over the hill.
okay.
She's afraid. She travels there 3 days a week, going to church and then to the store.
Okay.
And she's been asking me over and over again since I worked for the township if I could put a guardrail there. I said, Mom, I wish it was that easy, but I can't do that. So
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Ziegler.
Next person, Michelle Rubileski. You can do it now if you'd like.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Rubileski, member of the South Surbane Township Parks and Rec, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to share with all of you, since there's a lot of you here tonight, how hard the Parks and Recreation Board has been working to serve our community and enhance our township. Over the past few months, we focused on several key initiatives and projects, including, and we have quite a few coming up. We hope you all can make it. We will be having an indoor movie night showing the movie Lorax, and it will take place over at the fire hall on Oak Road. So bring your camp chairs, your sleeping bags, whatever, and come watch the movie with us. And then following that, we have South Surbane Township's Founders Day, which is going to be pretty interesting. You'll come learn about the history of the township, how it got started, what happened with the development. So, and the the Washington County Historical Society is going to share some information with us too, so it'll be a pretty interesting event. And we have, before that, in February, coming up in February, we have a skating, a family skate outing at Prince Skate Arena. And along with, it's $10 to skate, that includes your skate rentals and your rink time, and there'll be pizza and drinks afterwards. And in the meantime, I received an email from Samantha, we've been working with her to do this event, and she shared with us that they are going to offer residents of South Strabane Township the same thing that they give to North Strabane. It's called the Learn to Skate Partnership, where they'll teach children and people to skate that don't know how to do that. And then you go there to learn to skate, they're going to split any of their profits 70-30. They'll keep 70 and we'll get 30% of it back to the township. It'll come back to us. So that's kind of a nice thing too. And if anybody's interested in that, email us. Share that information with you. Our community Easter egg hunt that will take place on Saturday. That will be at the event. There's also a bus trip going with it. And in July the 19th. So mark your calendars for that. We're excited about putting that together for you, and we're excited about the please feel free to ask us.
Next on the list, John Owen.
Pastor John Owen, I'm the chairman of the board at Thomas Campbell Apartments. I live at 5 Fulton Street in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. I came to acknowledge from the board and thank Fire Chief Kramer for your involvement in a quite different outcome. 3 years ago, as the fire chief explained, we had a fire and it was quite chaotic. Exactly 3 years and less than a month later, exact same conditions, humid air caused a fire, and there was minimal damage. Minimal damage. No one was displaced. No one even had to move. And just the leadership that he brought to the table and the direction that he led us and to bring us to this. This was the outcome that we hoped would never, or an event we would never have to deal with again, but the outcome was phenomenal. The insurance paid $1.6 million to bring the property back to where it was. The board spent $2.2 million in upgrades in safety and ADA improvements to make the building. And we got the same response on Thursday because fire chief came and his team and they did a presentation to residents to fire safety, explaining the systems and did a fire safety training at each one. What he just reported, we got that reaction from the residents. They cheered and thanked us that now they live in the safest building in this township. The last meeting at the very end, a daughter of one of the residents came up and was crying and thanking us. Thank you that my mother lives in this place. and she was there. And so I just want to thank the township and especially Fire Chief Kramer for what you've done and brought us to this place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is the one I'm most excited about. I also wanted to share with you that the Parks and Rec Commission, we purchased 2 ADA-approved swing sets for our disadvantaged or handicapped residents or visitors to the park. One is set to be installed at Community, and with clearance and variance, whatever allowances are, the other one will be done at Billy Bell. If Billy Bell doesn't work out, it's going to go over at Driscoll. So we're excited about that. So, and it was set to ship out today, and they should be here in about a week, depending on the carrier.
That was important. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Next on the list, Brad Simmons. You on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm here for the commission.
Okay. Linda Rimbaugh.
Nice Christmas. I just came to I usually don't write anything down. I usually just wing it when I'm up here, but I felt that this was important, and that's why I write everything down. So I'm just gonna read this to you, and I apologize for reading this, but I'm gonna do it this way. I want to express my full support for Chief Jordan Kramer as his leadership and he has been instrumental in ensuring the safety of South Strabane Township. Under Jordan's leadership, we have seen safety and community involvement. 2 small examples: on January 21st, Jordan was interviewed by the Observer reporter, and his home safety tips were presented on the front page of the paper. Again, he continued to educate the staff, and only 4 days ago, the residents of Thomas Campbell Apartments about the importance of abiding by the no smoking policy, and that the departments were much better prepared and had preventative measures in place. I think we've already probably talked about that, but I wanted to give that as an example. Another example of Jordan's leadership in the community involvement was in the past December, on Saturday, the Parks and Rec had an event called the Breakfast with Santa, where Jordan was the MC. Furthermore, he interacted personally with the children and the residents, fostered a culture of professionalism and teamwork. Seeing the fire department and the police department take time off on a Saturday benefited all of us. He has earned the trust and respect of the department staff and has made a positive difference and has strengthened public confidence in fire and emergency services. On a personal note, my husband and I have had to contact Jordan regarding many issues, including fire codes, and he has responded to our concerns immediately and professionally. I strongly recommend renewing his contract and believe Jordan will continue to excel and drive his success.
Reverend Robert Grew.
I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to still speak, because I was a little late. I have someone sick at home, so I apologize for being late. Reverend Robert Grew, South Strabane Fire Chaplain, Washington County Sheriff's Chaplain, and pastor of First Lutheran Church in the city of Washington. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the changes we've had. I wasn't expecting to speak because I was late, so I apologize. Under Chief Kramer, we've had a lot of education, as you've heard in the past. I've worked the summer camps with the kids, and it's absolutely brilliant to see children learn fire safety, learn all the equipment, and have a better working knowledge of what is going on in case of a fire. From smoke houses to ladders to how to move about you think about it, the city's not doing that. And they should use our model for doing it because it will save lives. Second thing, we have it for adults as well. Keeping people safe in our community, we have the courses for adults as well. This year, I have a very close relationship with Santa 44. He's the same Santa who is in our community. I know there's some debate about using the trucks and the fuel, but we had approximately 1,000 people come out for Santa this year. In the 8 hours that poor Santa froze out up there. It's a wonderful community to have. And I also thank these wonderful folks behind us, the Parks and Rec, because they at our station as well. Which meant Santa came and visited with our Parks and Rec open to all the kids, and that was a lot of children and a lot of kids very happy getting their pictures taken. It's our safety thing is the Halloween event where we have as many volunteers as staff that we have to go around and make sure our community is safe. I'm very pleased to be part of that as well. Knowing that children are looking forward to us taking pictures with us, being in their firefighter uniforms. You'll see one over there, one of our little firefighters. One of our firefighters from Washington Fire Department made sure that we were cared for the our hall was used for make sure that I took time off work to make sure everything was prepared for them. Is I would like to see need to be just as good as life as a big events and work together so that the community is very positive and working for safety for our people. Thank you very much.
Nathan Perry.
#11 Arrowhead Drive, South Spring, obviously. Sorry, everyone. Very good person. Teacher, father of 3, and another one on the way. But I'm Chief Jordan Kramer because that's what he does for everybody in this community. He shows up within in the South Spring Fire Department. On December 12, 2022, my wife and I were on our 8-month-old. We immediately called 911, and I had to begin performing CPR. Within 10 minutes, Chief Kramer, and the EMS arrived, took my son, continued resuscitation, and were able to keep him alive. And they transferred him to the Washington Hospital emergency room, and shortly after, he was transferred to Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. At 4 o'clock that morning, Chief Kramer grabbed the Children's Hospital, stayed with me there at the hospital, and with me and my wife and I, as long as they could. Tragically, later that day, my son passed away from sickness. And following that birth event,
get them extra toys during the holidays. They definitely me and my family still do to this day. Check out the movie. Chaplain at the fire department. He makes visits and helps us and comforts us however he possibly can. It's a very difficult time for us, and which still is to this day. Most recently, October of 2024, my dad tragically passed away of cancer. He was a longtime teacher and coach at Trinity School District, and if you were at his viewing, he was admired by many. He reached out to me and asked if there was anything he could do to help my family out, and he was able to help us organize a really great event to, just to honor my dad and celebrate his life. And it was just a beautiful event, and him and his staff were there. The kindness and willingness to assist us during such difficult times will never be forgotten in my family. To this day, we still have a relationship, as I said, with Chief Kramer and his staff, and this is just one of the many countless ways that they serve our community, as we've mentioned before. Every day, and they're always ready to help however they can. I really appreciate is the social media that they provide, informed about road closures, accidents, and other safety information throughout the year. So that you may have, sure you unattach your hose outside, which I've forgotten to do. So that little reminder there, and just all of the community events that they run throughout the year. My kids, and so many other kids in the community look forward to the youth firefighter camp that they hold every year. Santa breakfast that they did along with the Parks and Recreation was just awesome. The last 2 years, I mean, it is 100 times better than going to South Hills Village. And just all of the other things that they do around the holidays, and visiting all of the homes in South Strabane is just one of the many examples that Chief Kramer and the South Strabane Fire Department do for our community, and I highly recommend the renewal of his contract.
Thank you very much.
That's the last name.
Is that the last?
Yes.
The meeting minutes, I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the Board of Supervisors of December 17th, 2024. Thank you. Be a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, there's no mention of the executive session we had on January 2nd.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yeah, that's on the January 9th meeting minutes, which took place after the executive session. December 17th was prior to the executive session, so it wouldn't be announced until after that one. Right. The executive session took place after December 17th.
All right, so all in favor of, that's not in this particular item. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Also, we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the Board of Supervisors of January 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you. Need a second, please. Second. Thank you, Mr. Grego. Any discussion on this one? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Okay, number 5, financial business. Approval of the payrolls for the periods November 24th, 2024 through December 7th, 2024, December 8th, 2024 through December 21st, 2024, December 22nd, 2024 through January 4th, 2025, and bills for the period December 14th, 2024 through January 24th, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Second, please. Thank you, Mr. Grego. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Announcements and recognition. Department's taking Kramer next presentation. Just some things I'd like to announce at this time, that may not be listed on the agenda. First thing I'd ask Chief Hill to please stand up, please, and explain to the group the grant you recently received for police work.
We partnered up with Chartiers Township, Houston Borough, and on the fringe of Canonsburg as well, and applied for an LSA grant for 2025 to expand our intersection surveillance camera project, basically from the northern end of our township up through those other communities. And happy to report that we did receive an award for $140,000 this week to expand that project. It's not just us. I mean, as I presented to the board, there's more than 150 municipalities that all share our data through that network, and we're all able to work together, especially with the interstate highways here. It's just imperative that we're working with every law enforcement agency in Western Pennsylvania, and we do that through this project. So very thankful to the LSA committee for granting this project, and thankful particularly to Township Manager Chartiers Jody Noble is the one who actually submitted the application on our behalf, and she did a wonderful job along with the manager Saber here as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Okay, on the, you notice January, snowfalls, and our road crews are right at work, those type of things. I have some things I just want to mention to you about the road crew and their performance in our township. This board is very proud of them, how hard they work for us. I have a list here of names, I think to social media, maybe 14, 15 names praising their work. But there's one particular letter that I would hang in there and read it to you. From some of our reps. Dear Township Manager, Board of Supervisors. Usually you receive letters of complaint for one reason or another. This letter is just the opposite. I would like to highly commend the entire South Strabane Township Road Department for the excellent hard work they have continued to provide to all the residents of South Strabane. This winter, our roads have been cleared of snow and ice almost immediately after snowfall, regardless of the hour of the day or night. And their crews continue to keep the roads clear as the snow continues to fall. I have been meaning to write this letter for some time now, but just have not taken the time to do it. I am sure there are many other residents that feel exactly as I do, and that is true. We have a list of it. Thanks for a wonderful job. Thanks to the Board of Supervisors for providing the manpower and the quality equipment needed to complete the job properly. Sincerely, Tom and Barb Knight, and they are from Woodcliff Drive. I want to commend Kevin Montgomery and his crew down there, and old Joe Rush is here tonight. This is our former road master. They all of these are rival flies. They work real hard. Founders Day. Michelle mentioned that, and I'm going to encourage everybody in this room and all the entire Board of Supervisors, all the staff, please attend that Founders Day dinner on March 28th. And Founders Day means the beginning in the history of our township. That would be a good thing to experience at that particular time. A few years ago, with the permission of the board, we worked with Trinity Middle School kids, and we developed a first ever flag for South Strabane Township. At that time, I got into history pretty good. He needed help in that. That provides some history to you. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing. I would encourage everyone to attend. I attended the last event. That was a community dinner here not too long ago. It's a nice event. It just got started up. And I'm sure it's going to grow each year. Attend these things. These are things they provide for you. And they're good things. You get to meet your neighbors. You get to meet the supervisors. You put them off the last. But anyways, you get to socialize with everyone. It's a good thing. And I encourage that Founders Day. I'm glad you brought that up. There's one other thing here I want to talk about. And please hang in there with me about the fire department, okay? I have high praise for our fire department. You've probably heard me over the years. Particularly the last couple of years, praise the fire department. They work. They do very, very well here. They're 24/7. But I just want to point out a couple of things. You saw the terrible California fires out there in Los Angeles. And I just jotted down some things I heard on the news. That mounted leadership was ill prepared to handle that situation. In fact, the leader of that particular town at the time, Los Angeles, the mayor of that town at the time, the disaster hit. They had no water to fight the fire. You need water to fight the fire. I'm not sure about this Jordan Kramer, but I know it's 50 or 90 different trucks were in ill repair. They couldn't use them. They weren't fixed. They cut their funds a couple of years ago. Drained. They didn't have enough money to get the job done. Biggest thing is they had competent leadership. I don't know about the fire chief. Fire chief is on there. I don't know about that. The people, the governor, and the Los Angeles mayor just didn't do their job. Not take care of them, do their job. That's it. Here, I'm gonna tell you some good news. Here's a little South Green Township. That big city, our little township, less than 10,000 people. We're welcome there. We're always welcome there. I don't think there's a farm here would disagree with what I just said. We're welcome there. And the residents should know that. We're welcome there. We have over, I hope I get this number right, Jordan, but over 200 fire hydrants. They work. They got water in them. We didn't have water in Los Angeles. This is our own little township. This is not a big city. The trucks and our equipment are well maintained with the collaboration of the volunteers, the hybrid system, and the career, and the township. We're in good shape. We need a call. You heard some of these other folks have said. We just may touch a sore spot, but we do have adequate funds. We're doing that too deep. We have enough cash there that we can take care of these things and make things right around here and provide the right service for them. And here's the most important thing that they don't have out there. We have competent leadership. I mentioned Jordan Trevy's our fire chief. There's our assistant fire chief, and some of the fire. I always like the firefighters now. I always like to acknowledge them and say hello to them. We have 9 career volunteers and 29 career firefighters and 27 volunteers. At one time, we had hardly any volunteers. This man showed up on the scene. I remember interviewing Jordan Kramer, and I said, "These are what we expect. Can you do it?" Yes, I can. Yes, my folks. He did it. He did it.
Mr. Mayor, we also have 7 part-time firefighters on top of that, as well in our department. One thing I wanted to point out though is I'm one person. The department that I walked into, the willingness of everyone there, the career fire staff, the volunteers, that is why we're where we are now. Their willingness to put us where we needed to be. So I appreciate everything. But many of them are here.
I know. I like when they come. I give them full credit. They know that. They stay out of the Okay, that's enough of me. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for the patience. It's important information to get out. And just one final note. Our road department, our fire department, our police department. I'll put them up against anybody, any township. Wants this county. I'll tell you right now. We got superb leadership. And he said, I mentioned the good staff down there, the road crew, the firefighters, police force. We're top notch. We get full service. You know what? You go to bed at night, you know you're protected. You know, somebody's got to go out and help you if you need help. And quickly. You're not going to take the time to get there. They will be there. So that's enough of that. And I just want to point out these folks. Sometimes I get criticized for praising my fire department too. I don't know. Criticize you all. I'm giving them credit. I'm a full supporter. Yeah, and you're right. I should mention this too. You're hanging a lot of times. Our administration, new township manager, of course, assisted by his chief. Once he puts a positive, and we have a tremendous staff. We got a good director of planning. code enforcement officer, we got, administrative clerks. Who am I missing here?
Finance.
Finance, director of finance, a top-notch one right there. You hear me, Marie? Top-notch. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. We have a tremendous staff, but that has a lot to do with Jeff Ziegler coming into the township and building a staff. And I want to tell you what, this week, this is nothing to hurt anybody in the past. He's developed a professional attitude here. And I always ask this board to support this guy. He's doing a good job for us. He's professional. Our people that work at these different departments are professional. And thank you for reminding me. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I'm sorry, I forgot about
I'm proud of the team he put together.
We have a very great job. That's what I said. If you need something during the week, call. If you need something, go and visit. These people here are ready to help you. They'll extend time to you to help you out. So once again, thank you to everyone. I think you need everybody around the block. Let's do one more time. Okay, township reports and presentations. Letter A, municipal separate storm system MS4 report. The Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time during this item for comments regarding the topic of stormwater. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have any citizen or resident that wants to make a comment on MS4? Do we have anybody on the?
Yeah, we have one.
Okay, put it on.
Hi, Charlene Scavati.
Okay, go ahead, Charlie.
There were some things that were needing done with our MS4, and I was just wondering if you could give me some updates. Hello?
You went off there.
I was just wondering if you could give me some updates on the MS4.
What's that, Rob, is there any updates to it? Specific. There's nothing specifically in the updates unless you have certain things you want to ask. We could research it for you. What do you have?
Well, there were some things that were needing done. Rob and Dennis are aware of them, and I was just wondering if anything was up to date.
What I'll do is I'll talk to Rob probably tomorrow or Thursday, and we'll get back to you. Mr. Ziegler and I will talk, and maybe we'll have a telephone conference maybe Wednesday, tomorrow, and we'll get back to her probably end of the week. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. And
All right.
thank you, Charlie.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, thanks, Charlie. No, I didn't, more public comment time. Was there anybody who had public comments? I forgot about the Zoom. Is there anybody? Anyone else? Okay, let's move on. Township manager report.
Yeah, I had a couple of items this evening. I just wanted to start with the monthly community development activities, things that are going on in the township or around the township. So there's a Panda Express. I've updated on that a couple of times in the past months. At this point in the process, they have a building permit has been submitted under review right now. The 7 Brew Coffee Shop, land development was approved by the supervisors at the December meeting, and a building permit was approved for that just earlier today. And then we have an epicenter conditional use application. You'll learn more about that here in a little bit. There's a land development process running in conjunction with that at the Planning Commission next month. I was going to talk about Founders Day as well, but that's been covered, I think, fairly well. I just encourage everybody to go. That's all I have for Stephen.
Is that a dinner or what?
It is a open house. There's going to be a tea. There's going to be some snacks. But if you're looking for a meal, you should eat first.
No,
but I would encourage you going because this is
Sandwiches.
sandwiches. Okay, I pictured these things.
So what day is that? Is March 28th?
Yes.
March.
What day is that, by the way?
It's a Friday.
March 28th, Friday, from 5 to 7 at the Gathering Place in Tea Room.
Where's that?
Right by Copper Kettle.
Copper Kettle.
Or it's in Amwell.
Almost a Copper Kettle, yes.
Okay.
Is that the place across the street?
Yes.
Yes,
That brick
before you
house?
get the Copper Kettle, that red brick house.
You need to make reservations or anything, or what?
You should sign up at the township office.
Yeah, sign up so we know how many.
Sign me up for that. I'll go.
Yeah.
Joe Lee's going, so you'll take care of that.
All right. Sorry about that.
Charging 20.
I'll pay for it.
It's an open house. Fill up that truck.
I'll bring some historical maps of the township from back in 1876.
If you have some, I can stop and pick them up if we can borrow them.
Oh, it's Caldwell's Atlas. And, I'll see,
Oh, okay,
it's an old book. I'll bring it with me.
okay.
It costs, it's expensive if you can't find them. I'll be there.
He's not our parliamentarian, he's over our historian. He delves into that stuff, okay? Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Secretary Treasurer, you already submitted that report to us. Solicitor, Mr. Mick.
Yes, Mr. Weber, the office has been involved in different developmental issues for the township. We've assisted Mr. Ziegler on those matters. We've also been involved in some personnel matters and some other issues for the township. So we've been pretty busy this past month, and I do enjoy working with Mr. Ziegler. I think he's doing a fine job as township manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mick.
That's all I have.
Okay, you're on, engineer.
Thank you. Phase 2 work on Burkett Manor continues. We did receive the information from Gate Road, the gateway that we had requested. So we'll be reviewing that on your behalf. It's coming up to the time where we're going to proceed with the approval of the 537 plan that we worked through a couple of years ago. It's finally, Weege has worked through the regional side of things. We need to stay ahead of them. So
Well, just briefly, give 1 or 2 sentences, what the 537 plan is.
So an Act 537 plan is the sewage facilities plan for the township. Every municipality is required to have one. South Shore hadn't been updated in a while. In anticipation of the regional project that we just were trying to do, we were asked to update that plan. We have to adopt that. We did our first draft and prepared that, provided that to Weege, and then Weege used the contents of that plan as well as other plans provided by other municipalities to prepare the regional plan. So now that they're through that, we just make sure that everything kind of is consistent across all the plans. Then we submit that on behalf of the township, and then you guys, the township will also have to approve Weege's plan when the plan comes. We'll submit the DEP once the township approves it, we'll submit the DEP for their approval. Other than that, we've been in conversations about moving the LSA funds we had for that stream bank stabilization project to a possible project, stormwater project in Bristol Park. Waiting to see whether or not that'll be approved. I understand probably here now that they've announced awards for this past period of funding. I suspect we'll hear something pretty soon on that. Transit Associates done some preliminary work on the Berry Road evaluation. We're working towards getting the Pancake ADA project ready to go for bid. That should be ready to go probably, I'd say, within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then we'll push that over to the redevelopment authority. I believe that is all I have for this month, unless there are questions.
Anybody have questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, unfinished business, going to new business, letter A, the public hearing for the consideration of a conditional use application for Epicenter LLC, low impact active recreation sports complex at 2200 Tanger Boulevard in the C3 mixed use zoning district. Before I turn it over to Mr. Makel for the hearing, your representative. Great. Very good. Mr. Makel, I'll let you take it from here.
Yes, Mr. Weber. Sir, you're the only person on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, could you raise your right hand, please? Could you swear him in, Matt?
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
I do.
And before we begin asking questions or having a presentation, I'd like to have someone make a motion to place into evidence Exhibit A, which would be the application for land development plan approval. Exhibit B would be the application for conditional use zoning amendment. And Exhibit C would be the process access agreement. Exhibit D would be the proof of publication for tonight's proceeding.
So moved to enter A through D.
I'll second it. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Maple, just for a point of order, because of so many hearings, do we need to make a motion to allow this to proceed?
Sorry?
Do we need to make a motion to allow this hearing to proceed?
No,
I
no.
didn't think so.
No.
Good.
So, sir, state your full name,
My name is Brad Simmons.
and you are the applicant,
I am a representative for the applicant,
and you're with what firm?
Civil and Environmental Consultants.
All right, so you made an application on behalf of your owners. Are they here tonight?
We have one representative from the applicant itself.
Is he here tonight?
Yes.
Would he please stand, or she? So state your name,
Armando Ocando,
and how do you spell your name, sir?
ARMANDO OCANDO.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so I believe what you're trying to do is you want to place a sports facility that centers on pickleball. Could you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So the applicant is proposing to install a low-impact sports complex, which is a conditional use in the C3 zone.
And this is going to be located where?
It'll be located at what is known as the Tanger Outlets. The address is 2200 Tanger Boulevard, and it's located on the southwestern portion of the facility.
Besides pickleball, I assume you also have some other uses for that facility, correct?
That's correct, yes. So the intent is to have basketball courts, which would be converted to volleyball courts. They do intend on having tournaments for those two sports. And there's also a restaurant on site as well.
And how many square feet will this facility be?
I would have to double check that, to be honest. The overall impact to the property is approximately 13 acres.
13 acres? How much under roof?
I'm sorry?
How much under roof?
I would have to double check that number.
Do you have that here today, or you don't?
It's about 115,000 square feet.
You want to come up here, please, and swear him in if you don't mind.
To the racial review, you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And you're part owner there?
Yeah, I'm one of the general partners.
All right. The thing about it is, we want to get some idea to the public and to the board of what's going on besides, football and, I guess, a community restaurant or something, and basketball and volleyball.
Yeah.
Can you give us some more information, please?
Yeah, sure. So there's a big part of it is just to have a place for people to be active, to come together. We're going to be hosting tournaments as well on the weekends, which is going to be a great boost for tourism. It's going to help a lot of the businesses in the area, a lot of the other restaurants in the area. But during the week, there's going to be a tremendous amount of space that people could use. So we'll have some, fitness opportunities, people to do group classes, stuff of that nature. We're planning on having like a mini golf there as well. So it's a joint venture with Tanger Outlets, and they've been working with us, and we've been working with a team of people that have done this across the country. Some of our partners own and operate similar facilities, and we are working with a team of people that are really passionate about the whole impact, from a impact on a personal standpoint, as well as the impact to the region as well.
So you mentioned miniature golf also?
Yeah, that's one of the ideas that we had. Just a fun activity. There's going to be a lot of sometimes on these basketball tournaments, you have a lot of folks that have a lot of downtime between games. So just to give them activities to do to stay busy and have. So that's what we also are kind of envisioning. Like as you connect, because it's going to be connected. If you look at that green space, I even told them, hey, we're going to get rid of that walkway. This is going to be a place that you could come with your family. You could spend time there. You can socialize. You'll have cornhole. You'll be able to just have a nice, enjoyable place to go. There's going to be a restaurant there, but there's going to be so many people coming for tournaments that they're also going to go to a bunch of the other restaurants in the area, and the hotels are obviously going to benefit as well. And we've been really grateful to have a lot of support from the county. We've also were awarded one of the LSA grants as well as RCAP as well.
So you got RCAP from the state?
Yep, correct.
And how much did you get from the state on that? That's
$800,000.
And how much in LSA?
$300,000 for these rounds.
Does the board have any further questions or comments? Mr. Murphy, you have any?
So you answered a couple of my questions. Do you know how many parking spots you're taking out to put this building in?
Yeah, so Brad has all those numbers, you want into it?
Yeah, absolutely. With the building at this stage, we'll be losing approximately 523 parking spaces.
The pickleball, are you gonna have tournaments for that also?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll just give you a little example. I'm a little confused here on, low impact, high impact. Are you gonna have all 8 basketball, when you have a tournament, you're gonna have all 8 courts going at one time?
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the attractions.
Okay, so there's 10 kids on each team. So that's 20 kids on a court. Times 8, it's 160 participants. Certainly you're gonna have 300 to 400 spectators there watching. Low impact is under 200. High impact is over 200 participants and spectators, so I'm kind of curious on why you're coming through as low impact when it's really high impact, in my opinion.
I believe that was some direction that we received from the township here. If I remember correctly, it would be more specific towards the fact that we're not providing bleachers or anything of that sort for spectators.
But you're gonna have a mezzanine around it all, which I've been to court time that doesn't. So yeah, you still get tons of parents that stand up there, grandparents, aunts, uncles.
Sure.
I mean, if you have pickleballers playing the same time you got a tournament going on, I see your facility going up into 400 or 500 people being there at one time. And our zoning specifically states that anything over 200 in participants and spectators is high impact. And I'm just questioning on why I went through planning that way, or I'm not against you guys, believe me. I'm just trying to live within our rules.
Sure,
What our zoning.
What he's saying, I'm sorry, Rick, I apologize. What he's saying, if you look at section 245-107, subparagraph D, it says the minimum site required for high impact active recreation with 200 or more participants and or spectators shall be 50 acres. That's high impact. That's what you're talking about.
That's what I believe it's gonna be with, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not opposed to it, I'm just trying to understand why I came through with low impact, and then you read that somewhere else, I lost it, but there was another sheet that kind of spelled that out also.
There is. So the question is, how do we solve that dilemma?
I would have to go through and evaluate what the actual difference between the high and low impact are within the ordinance.
Well, subparagraph C, I'm starting up, she says, the minimum site required for high impact active recreation with fewer than 200 shall be 10 acres. You know, so I think that's concern that Mr. Murphy is looking at C and D, correct?
Yeah, and the original, yes, I am. I mean, I'm not saying I'd go back to the township, I mean, you could come get a variance, I don't know.
That's what he may have to get a variance, so.
In regards to the minimum acreage.
Correct, because if you look at paragraph D, 107 paragraph D, it talks about, you know, if you have over 200 people, then it becomes high impact. Then you have to have 50 acres or more. So you would, if we grant this, it's going to be subject to getting a variance from the zoning hearing.
Well, the property itself is 102 acres. So the application for the conditional use is specific to the entire property of 102 acres. Our limit of disturbance for the development is approximately 13 acres.
Is this addresses the planning commission?
You have to answer that one, Rob, it's beyond my capability of.
It wasn't, Mr. Weber, it wasn't really brought up at the planning commission. I don't recall that.
We did discuss at length the size of the property versus the size of the development. We did not discuss low impact versus high impact.
I just think it should be called high impact, and then it is what it is. And like you said, if they have that much and you get an agreement with Tanger or whatever to say, hey, because I have dealt with youth sports for 30 years, and I know how basketball and volleyball, and there's a lot of people that come.
Yeah,
a whole lot of parking.
I think ultimately, you know, it's coming down to parking. And that's certainly something that we don't want to restrict ourselves with as well, right? So if with the planning commission and our submittal with that, we did provide some parking calculations. There are a couple different variances of those calculations. However, we are providing, in our plans, a total of 400 plus on 2 out parcel parking lots. And then whenever you look at the numbers, Tanger originally overparked for what their requirements are. So basically what they're losing with the addition of this building equals out their requirements because they originally overparked. So with that said, we also have 2 out parcels proposed with our land development application.
Could you, the 2 out parcels you're talking about, will that come through on the other one, or can you show me that? Now, like, where would they be at? Because you're going on the backside, which used to be a gravel lot that was overflow parking for Tanger, and then Tanger did finally pave it.
Correct, yeah.
And I'm
So
wondering, why did they pave it if they didn't need the parking and just left the gravel?
yeah, I can't answer that.
I get that. I don't know either, but I'm just I don't want to make sure that
So
there is a
you
parking
can
issue
picture yourself,
between Tanger and you guys.
right, so if you could picture yourself at the entrance, looking at the shopping facility itself, there's 2 out parcels on each side of that entrance, and our land development package proposes those to be new parking lots.
You said somebody at the township helped you put that together. Who was that?
It wasn't necessarily helping put it together. It was just a conversation that I had with Kristen on what this application would look like.
And how many parking stalls are gonna be in those 2 overflow parking lots?
I want to say a total, it's just short of 500.
Okay.
This is part of a TIF district. Will this proposal be a part of the TIF district, and will you be getting 80% off your taxes also?
I'm not familiar with that.
No.
Are you gonna be part of the neighborhood improvement district?
I'm not familiar with that, frankly. I'm happy to hear about that.
There's certain parcels. Thank, right?
No, it would be on the same property. The property would not be subdivided at this point. They would just have access agreements, which we did provide with the land development application.
So you're not buying the property, you're leasing it off of.
It is.
Joint venture, right?
It's a joint venture, they are selling it to us and they're owning 4 shares, so.
What's the rest of the TIF?
Sorry?
There's no TIF.
There's no.
No.
There's no.
I want that on the record.
Yeah, we were very clear with that for a couple of years.
Yeah, I got other.
Yeah, other than just to make sure, so this isn't the one we would do with developers agreement, that's not. Everything else, or yes, no, maybe.
Well, this one I'd rather have some type of agreement because I want to make sure we're covered, because you raised the issues about high impact and low impact, which I think needs to be addressed in some type of an agreement with these folks.
All right, you handle that.
Would that be under the conditional use or the land development?
If the board were to do conditional use, we'll make that part, but also just like to have some type of understanding in writing saying, this is what you're going to be doing and so forth. I don't want to go beyond what you're saying today, okay? Not that I don't trust you, I just learn after a while.
You will have a remedy though.
Yes.
So you want to go back to zoning and
Well, the thing is, according to what he says, he has enough parking up there to I've been to Tangerine, let's be frank with you, for years. I don't know what he looks like it. Is there a lot of parking up there?
Oh, yeah, there's a tremendous amount there. Yeah, we had, some of the executives flew in just this past week, and that was the primary, discussion point, because as you can imagine, it's extremely important for them not to disturb the shopping experience for people. So that's a high priority for everybody.
So we may be able to get around the variance situation, but if we grant the conditional use, I think we just make sure, he said he has parking up there to cover us. Get to say basement.
So in our discussions,
He has a he has a property access, which is Exhibit C for this proceeding today. He does have an agreement with Tanger for that property, which that's Exhibit C for today's proceeding.
And how long is your lease gonna be for this?
They're actually selling the property, so it would be, we would own it and they would have ownership in that.
Building square footage, parking, everything.
Not the parking, we'll own the plot of land where the building is on.
And they'll have an understanding, an agreement with Tanger about sharing parking or utilizing parking.
Correct. And there'll be some of the parking that'll be like around the building that'll sort of be included. It won't be distinguishable.
Okay, gentlemen, I want to ask you, who gets to use this?
Anybody is able to.
In other words, can my South Savannah residents go through the footprint?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Under what conditions, do they reserve it, or they have to, a certain time?
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you're bringing this up. One of the things that we have talked about doing is having an offering for the residents to have. No, that's
I
not
want
good.
South Savannah residents to have access to that in some way. You got to come up with something.
Yeah, no, they're gonna love it. I can assure you. And then there's gonna be, we'll have a great facility. So on the basketball side, what's also really interesting is that we don't just have the 15 indoor pickleball courts, but those 8 basketball courts can also be lined for pickleball. So people that are beginners as well, we're gonna have a really low cost of entry to be able to play during the day, which is great for retirees that have flexibility in their schedule. So we're gonna have a lot of options to keep people busy.
Now, that's on the record now, that you're going to give preference to South Savannah.
I'm happy to do that, and I would be happy to teach all of you how to play pickleball. You just have to show me a picture that you were here and. I'll give you a-
Not gonna stop it. Okay, how about any other questions? George, do you have any questions? No. Russ? No. Yeah.
No, I guess my only other comment would be the taxpayers have supported that entire project up there for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
They've gotten 80% off their taxes. Taxpayers have essentially paid the bill for all the support services. And I think that they would deserve preferential treatment.
I'm more than happy to talk about what that looks like, and we're happy to do that.
I'm counting on it.
All right,
I'll
so
take
we'll
care of
have,
it.
we'll have cornhole and other things too, so we're gonna pickleball, you know, we'll have options.
Okay, Mr. Ribbon, we'll go back to you. The public gets to ask questions.
They do. At this point in time, does anyone have any questions of both of these gentlemen? We'll give you like 1 minute. Anybody question?
I have one. You said
State
you
your,
have
1
other
second.
facilities.
We have to.
You gotta state your name and everything, come on up, public hearing.
Marcia D, 6 Fox Drive. You said you had other facilities. Can you name one that's in our area?
Yeah, no, so there's none in this area. One of the gentlemen that's part of our project, his name's Brian McCann. He had a place out near Philadelphia. There was, I think there's like 6 courts, 6 basketball courts, 7 basketball courts. He didn't really have the ball component, but then he's also consulted with a number of other facilities across the country.
Okay, because I know there's like a sports complex near Cabela's.
Oh, okay,
in
yeah.
West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if this was going to be like that.
Got it. It's not related to that, but
Okay.
in some ways it's gonna be kind of similar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments from anybody in the public? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? You guys want to offer anything else?
No, just make sure you stretch before you play pickleball. But you gotta stretch.
conditional use?
With,
That's part of it, so, yes. I mean, you, and we want always, I always want electronic copy, send it to me, to Jeff. At this point in time, is there a motion to approve the conditional use request of the applicant's FI Center Sports Complex? That's your name, correct? Subject to following the third resolution here. We're gonna have to do it. Because what he said basically he has a lot of parking up there to take care of it. And I think that's what with your parking space that when you look at that section 107, paragraph subparagraph C and D, that is a concern because I don't know anything about pickleball or jumping around people there. We just make sure that we have enough parking there to facilitate that situation up there. And I'm certain if they're spending all that money, they're going to have to have some kind. If you're going to have an agreement with Tanger News Park, can we get a copy of that agreement? I mean, it's not in this one I have. You have to have some type of agreement with them, correct?
Yeah, it's part of our limited partner and JVP agreement, joint venture partnership agreement.
It hasn't been executed at the moment, but.
I'd like to get a copy of that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as soon as it's executed, right, we have it.
I'll give you my card and I'll give you Jeff's information.
Yeah, I assume that would be part of the land development.
We did close it, but there was one other thing, and that's, dang it, you gave it to me. On the end of one of those, anything that was high impact, no, not
Are
that.
you talking about the statute?
Yeah, that was over.
Right there.
It was the other one you gave me, the two paragraph thing.
Oh, that was
Paragraph. It was just on the one paper. It was all, this is one, just because it's in our ordinance.
You might.
It said that anything high impact over 200, you have to supply, I won't say security and something else.
Well, that'll be part of the whole plot. That'll be whatever we'll put that together because we'll have written findings of fact and conclusions. And that will be part of the written findings of fact.
You'll put that in there.
It'll all be put in there. Okay? Because I already have a draft, we already have a draft prepared, but we'll add all that information. Okay?
Yeah, I just remember reading that.
Send a
somewhere.
definition of high impact.
Yeah, there it was. And this is the a recreation act, a high impact recreation flow pact, and it was on, and for high impact active recreation use, a plan for security and traffic controls during events shall be presented. Yeah, so I'm just throwing that out there, but that's in our ordinance here, you can have.
Okay, Dennis, you gotta make the motion so we know what we're talking about here.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the conditional use application submitted by Epicenter Sports Complex, subject to the following, and we'll have a written findings put together, and I'll have to get this off to Jeff tomorrow, because I already have a draft right now, but subject to complying with all the terms and conditions of all township ordinances, zoning, SALDO, et cetera, which will include your provision. Two, compliance basically with payment of all fees and costs outstanding by the township, that would include that document. Submission of that agreement you just mentioned between the joint partnership agreement, share partnership agreement for parking, because that's the issue that needs to be addressed for us. Also, lighting and so forth. Plus, I think for whatever is a good situation, we'd also like part of that approval process that there be some type of preference in terms of cost memberships for the South Chebane Township residents. Sure. Okay?
And that it will not be a part of the TIF.
And that it will not be part of the TIF.
That's on the record.
That's all, and that's part of the motion, but that will also be put in the findings of fact. It will also be part of an agreement between the township and Epicenter, okay? So let's make that agreement.
Aye. carried 5-0. Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Can you get me, can you give me, Kathy, can you give me a transcript tomorrow? All right.
How much extra will that cost?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, everyone. Letter B, motion to approve a resolution to vacate Alberta Avenue and unnamed alley. Mr. Ziegler? Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
How about giving a description on motion B?
Okay, yes, Mr. Kevin Krebs has requested that the township vacate a portion of an unopened paper street named Alberta Avenue and a unopened paper alley right away that intersect his 3 parcels of property. The resolution that you have in front of you talks about that. The township has no public interest in it at this point. Also, the resolution contains a provision for any public utilities that may be in there, they would automatically be granted 20-foot easement. Any questions on that?
Kevin here?
Don't think Kevin is here.
He was unavailable at work.
Pardon me?
He had work, he wasn't able to attend.
Have you
I'll to him today.
spoke to him? What we make a motion that
I'll make a motion to accept the.
Need a second, please. I'll second it. Point, now it's time for discussion.
Yeah, a paper street, the township doesn't own. We have over 70 of them in the township, and they're put in place so no one can be landlocked. The township doesn't own them, the residents doesn't own them. How can we grant permission for something we don't own?
So what the resolution primarily says is that, as you're well aware, once you create a plan of lots, if that, there's paper street there and it's not opened up for 21 years or more, then basically the only way to open it up, you have to do certain procedure. What this is saying basically that paper street, we have no public interest since we haven't done anything with it. We haven't maintained it for 21 years. We haven't adopted by resolution, by ordinance or whatever. So all we're saying basically, it's not part of our road system. That's what we're saying. And basically what I normally do, because with these paper streets after all, Russ, it becomes problematic. So after we get this done today, or whatever, we also file something at the courthouse with the road docket, the clerk of courts, because sometimes questions will happen, and I know I go up to the courthouse, clerk of courts, and I questions this road, whatever happened to this road, and sometimes it's nice to see saying basically it's never been accepted or not part of our roads. So all it's saying basically is we never had anything to do with it. It's not a public road, and if there's any public utilities going through it, our action doesn't affect those public utilities. That's all it's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, only because you did put that in there. So for, the vacating of Alberta Avenue shall not affect any easements or existing.
That's what it is. It's
a non-named street.
That's what we have. I know the street on this Alberta, and the alley situated on. There's an unnamed alley that's going through that.
If there's any existing or anything, mention that for Alberta, but not for the unnamed alley. That's an issue, I don't know.
Well, personally, technically, that right to do it, they don't. But we'll make that modification and we'll get that to Jeff tomorrow.
Okay, we have a motion and second, discussion concluded. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Discussion this matter. and hash out. Mr. Non personnel. Mrs. Edwards, please call the roll call.
Mr. Rowan. Mr. Grego.
Yes.
Mr. Bull.
No.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Awesome. So I've been here for 3 years, and over the past year, the 2 newer supervisors have been asking nonstop, questioning my qualifications, credentials, experience, whether I met the job requirements when I started here 3 years ago. Where I live, there have been accusations that are just nonstop. So is there anything that I can answer and address publicly in front of the people here that might help?
Yes, your agreement included you to be our information technology and network person. Do you have any formal education or training in networking?
No. However, I've been doing it for the past 3 years here.
Okay.
And have done it.
We pay you over and above your contract. We pay you additional $2,600 for your public information officer. Do you have any formal training or education?
I do actually.
What are those?
Through 3 months to be a public information officer. And actually, I participated in a drill recently with the county, and the director of the FEMA for the state of Pennsylvania complimented the county of Washington because they hadn't had a public information officer do that well in any of their exercises.
Well, that's good. Congratulations. And we pay you an additional $1,000 to oversee the administration of the state mandated recycling compliance. I mean, our office staff has grown to 7 employees. You know, don't we have anybody else that can do this, that works for this township?
Well, Mr. Bull, you yourself have been one of the #1 people that have called us out for not being able to meet what the residents expect. So it takes more people than what has worked here over the previous years. We are finally fixing many, many things that may have been left as loose ends because we finally have the staff to be able to do it. And you're right, I don't have experience with the recycling either, but I learned it so that we could get a grant for $30,000 to go into our budget as revenue. So it wasn't getting done, and I filled in the blank.
No,
I
my
did not
other-
ask to be the interim township manager. I did not ask to be the assistant manager. The township at the time asked me, they had a 40 meetings to be filled, and they asked me to do it. I didn't want to, but it had to be done to continue.
And I think you did a good job.
I've yet to hear that.
You did an excellent job.
Well, that's 4 questions. We, in the 2.5 years that you've been employed here, you know, your salary will have gone up, almost 18%.
I don't know, it's going up $14,000, and I remain the lowest paid fire chief of both Washington and Allegheny counties.
You only got 2.5 years of experience.
Fire chief in his first year at Cecil Township makes a little over $5,000 more than me. And by the way, I was recruited for these other jobs that I turned down because I want to stay here in South Virginia with these firefighters.
I'll tell you what, we're glad you did like that.
I think that the sick days being doubled from 40 to 80 hours, and I think your vacation being increased by 1/3, I think that's a lot. I mean, you're getting off. You're
So
getting
my
off
sick
what?
time being increased to 3 weeks. Or I'm sorry, my vacation time being increased to 3 weeks. Do you know how many hours I worked last week?
I'd like to thank you.
Wait a minute, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge here. I'm handling this thing. I'm gonna say to this man here, as part of the interview process, and we tried to hire you, we did, we challenged you with a tremendous task. You came through, you heard it. You don't need to be questioned. Yes. It's a personnel matter. Majority of this board fully supports you. Fully support you. I support you. Absolutely. You just got a 4-1 vote for a 2-year contract. There's no need for any further discussion. I give you a lot of credit for coming up and taking the beat. Don't take the beat. Please be seated. Thank you. Move on, please. Letter B. Motion to approve an employment agreement with Jeff Ziegler for the position of township manager. Once again.
No, not. I texted my neighbor.
You should be focused on the meeting.
I am. Everybody was applauding.
Everyone's just turning cell phone, okay?
You know that's it? Well, don't sit there and lie to the
Mr.
people.
Easy, George. Mr. Ziegler.
Yes, sir.
Please call a roll call vote on this, on the motion, letter D.
Mr. Rowe.
First of all, I need a motion to
I'll
approve.
make a motion to approve the contract, new contract.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Township manager Jeffrey Ziegler.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Grego. Up and down vote here, roll call vote, please.
Wait a second here. We just did a manager's contract with him 6 months ago. Why are we doing, and he got a 2-year contract then. Why are we doing this again?
Roll call vote, please.
Okay, the taxpayers know.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Rowan.
Jeff isn't gonna get any discussion on that.
No discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Yes, Mr. Rowan.
Yes.
Mr. Grego.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Bull.
No.
Mr. Webb.
Yes, 4-1.
Apologize to them.
Letter E, please. Motion to approve a resolution setting the compensation of the tax collector beginning January 2026. Jeff, you want to take the lead on this, and then Dennis can chime in on it, of course, we just did a resolution. Jeff, you want to start off?
Yes, so our elected tax collector is retiring at the end of her current term, which is at the end of 2025. At that time, whenever there is a vacancy, that's when you can address the compensation issue, make any changes if you desire to do so for the next tax collector. Condition on that is that you have to adopt a resolution stating changes prior to the February 15th of the year of the municipal election. You have in your packet, I put together some information on what Ms. Kiesling gets paid now and how she's paid. And the resolution that we worked with Ms. Kiesling to come up with some recommendations, as well as the township solicitor to draft the resolution that's in front of you this evening. That kind of gets us started.
Yeah, so what happens is every 4 years you have a tax collector that comes up. So you have, according to the local tax collector's law, you have until February 15th to adopt the resolution for the upcoming term. According to the Constitution of Pennsylvania, you cannot increase or decrease the compensation of an elected official, except in the state House of Representatives, all that, they got beyond that. But you have to set this, and if you don't set it by February 15th, you're going to be held back by what the current person is making. Now, the resolution has had a lot of input between myself and Mr. Ziegler about what to put in there. I know it says, it's somewhat of a change because we have $30,000, but I think Mr. Murphy wants to go to $20,000, which I have no issue with. Now, keep in mind, this resolution is really in effect for the elected tax collector who collects real estate taxes. It really doesn't apply to the tax collector in terms of Act 511 taxes, which are taxes like earned income and so forth, and mercantile tax. So if you pass this resolution the way it is, with that modification of going from 30 to 20,000, you can use the new tax collector if you want, or you can go with, Acme Company to collect your mercantile tax. So again, it applies to the elected tax collector in terms of real estate tax. Anything involving Act 511 is not covered by this, even though you're allowed to use that person if you so choose. Okay?
Let's do it. I will make a motion to We'll discuss, once we discuss it, then I'll make another motion.
Okay, we haven't been motion yet, have we?
No.
Okay, motion to approve a resolution setting the compensation of the tax collector for beginning January 1st, 2026. Need a second, need a motion. Thank you. Need a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. Now discussion.
Yeah, this is key to the 19.5 for doing the three, which would be the real estate, fire tax, and per capita. And we did discuss this quite a bit, so I actually think it should be 20,000 instead of 30,000. I believe Trinity would also use, if somebody gets, they would get to use them. So I'm sure Trinity would pay him another 20,000, I would assume. I just think that's an adequate salary.
And I forgot to add, Mr. Weber, Mr. Murphy, that also the resolution allows for the tax collector to utilize the township building to collect taxes. Plus, the resolution also provides that the township will provide certain items of, like papers, postage, and so forth for the upcoming tax collector. Bond and everything else.
So the motion would be amended to indicate 20,000. So you want to put that in the motion?
Yeah, I would, yes.
Okay. Then we'll see how you can agree or not. The amended motion is, that's word that, Dennis. We're gonna change from 30 to 20.
A motion to approve a resolution setting the compensation of the tax collector beginning January 1st, 2026 at $20,000 per year beginning of 2026 through the conclusion of that term, plus use of the building and other items.
Anything else listed? Take your motion. Thank you. Get a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bull. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, other F. Motion approving changes to the collective bargaining agreement with South Strabane firefighters local 5006 for 2025 through 2027. I understand this is another step of the process. It's a tentative situation. We need our action here tonight to move this thing forward. Is that true, Mr. Ziegler?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Need a motion, please. Thank you. Second, thank you, Mr. Grego. Any discussion?
I got one question. Do our volunteers have workman's comp on them? Every volunteer, and the part-time and of course the full-time. Right. That was came up in a discussion with somebody else. We should have. I'm just making sure.
It's a state requirement.
It's a requirement. Isn't that through Swift or whatever is that with the one?
Yeah. It's required. Okay, let's call the question. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter G. Motion to approve the proposal by Transit Associates to prepare a transportation capital improvement plan related to the development of a traffic impact fee ordinance. Mr. Ziegler, a brief description. Okay?
Yes, at the December meeting, the township approved a roadway sufficiency analysis, which was prepared by Transit Associates. The next step in the process is to prepare a transportation capital improvement plan, which puts a dollar amount on those improvements. This is the last final task or document in this process. So that's what this proposal is this evening, is for you to consider them completing this last step in the process. And then after that, it will be adopting of an ordinance. This will be the last document being produced.
Let's have a motion that we can open up for discussion. Thank you. Need a second, please. Thank you, Mr. Grego. Any discussion on this issue? Discussion, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries 4-1. Letter H. Motion to authorize the solicitor to prepare articles of incorporation, EIN 501c documentation for the South Strabane Township Park and Recreation Foundation. Motion, please. Second. Discussion. Mr. Ziegler, can you explain this just a little bit briefly?
Yeah, so what the articles of incorporation would do would be establish a a nonprofit entity called South Strabane Township Parks and Rec Foundation. Once established, the foundation will be able to collect donations from local and national organizations as well as residents. Folks that would contribute donations will be able to write that off on their taxes. What we'll also do is we would put that money specifically in a fund for park and rec, park improvements or park functions specifically. Couldn't be used for other things, like equipment or hiring employees, things, those types of things. It'd be specifically for that purpose.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
No, I am the one that originally, I would really like to help them out, sitting back here, they're not listening to me, but Dale is.
Joe, you listening?
I'm the one that kind of really wanted this to help facilitate you guys, and I think you're doing a good job. To get donations from private, public funding. Just want to say thank you for everything.
All in favor, you make a motion to?
Yeah.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Okay, motion carries 4-1. I want to thank everyone for their attendance. I want to thank you for your support from the township. Keep up the good work. Motion to adjourn, please. Thank you, Mr. Holt. Thank you, Mr. Drago. All in favor? Aye.